It is the night before Maya's exam, and everything she still plans to study fits on one index card. Four words: verify, match, gate, escalate. The same four moves we have drilled all through this course. She is not learning anything new tonight, and that is on purpose. This episode is the exam day plan: how multiple response items really work, how to spend the 2 hours, what the 720 line actually asks of you, and how to read the report that comes after. None of it is knowledge, all of it is execution, and it fits on that card. So let's pack the card together, starting with the strangest gift this exam gives you. Some items on this exam have more than one correct answer, and every such item states right on the item how many responses to select. Most people read that line as extra danger, but I want you to read it as information, because the count changes what kind of thinking the question needs. Read a select to item like a normal question, and you hunt for the one option that fixes everything. Under that lens, an option that only does half the job looks weak, so you throw it away, and you may have just thrown away a right answer. Now apply the count. Two answers means the exam wants two moves, so two halves of one professional response is exactly the shape to hunt for. The chips you almost discarded survive, and the one that promised everything earns a second, harder look. So here is the discipline: eliminate until the number of survivors matches the number the item stated. If more survive than the item asked for, keep eliminating, and if fewer survive, you were too harsh somewhere, go back. Now the clock: 60 questions in 2 hours, which works out to 2 minutes for each one. 2 minutes is roomy for a question you recognize and quick send for the one you do not. So Maya runs 2 passes. Pass 1, she answers everything she recognizes on sight, and the moment an item starts to fight back, she flags it and moves on without guilt. That first pass banks every point she already owns, and it tells her exactly how much time the flagged questions can have. Pass 2, she returns to the flags carrying the 4 moves and asks which one the scenario is begging for. If an item still will not crack, she eliminates to the count, picks the strongest survivors and lets it go, because no single question is worth the ones she never reached. Here is where the answers go. Your 60 questions become one skilled score and 720 passes. This exam is criterion referenced, which is a dry phrase hiding a comforting fact. You are measured against a fixed standard, not against the other people testing that day. There is no curve, so nobody in that room is your competition, and a strong batch of candidates cannot move the line on you. The line was set in advance by subject matter experts asking one question: what should a minimally qualified associate reliably get right? Reliably is the word to take home, because a fixed line pays the person who makes the standard move every single time, not the person who is occasionally brilliant. That is why we drilled a pattern instead of trivia. Consistency is a skill you can rehearse, and this line was built to reward it. When it is over, you get more than a pass or a fail. The report also shows the percentage you got right in each of the 7 domains. Read it as a mirror of the blueprint map from episode 1, the same rungs now measured on you. One caution: those domain percentages are there to help you understand your result. The pass decision comes from the total scaled score alone. There is no per domain hurdle, so a weak domain cannot fail you on its own, and a strong one cannot save you by itself either. If the day goes badly, that same report becomes the study map for the next attempt. Point the hours at the shortest bars. Retakes exist, and they come with waiting periods. The current guide has the exact rules, and none of this is tonight's problem. Morning off, and Maya's only goal is to make the next hour boring. She checks in early, because arriving too late is treated like not arriving at all, and the fee does not come back. Her photo ID is out, and the name on it matches her registration letter for letter, because that match is checked exactly. If yours does not match, fix the registration well before exam day, not at the check-in desk. The desk is cleared the way the rules ask. No notes, no phone, no smartwatch, no second screen, and she stays in the camera's view for the whole session. So the index card stays outside the room, which is fine, because the card was always a rehearsal for her memory. Policies like these can shift. So read the exam day section of the current guide the week before, and the morning will hold no surprises. One honest thing before we drill: this credential is valid for about a year, and then it asks to be renewed. Some people hear that and feel shortchanged. A certificate with an expiry date sounds like a gym membership. I read it the other way. This is a habit certificate, not a trophy. The tools under it change fast, so the credential only means something while the person holding it stays current. Renewing on time is a light review. Letting it lapse means the full exam again, and the exact terms live in the current guide. So do not treat tomorrow as a finish line. It is the day the working habits get counted, and about a year from now they get counted again. Let's run one flagged item from past two together the way Maya will. Launch week: Dan wants last quarter's customer feedback analyzed for the announcement email, and the export file is full of customer names and email addresses. Claude's draft summary quotes. One headline statistic that Dan wants printed in the email itself. The item asks which two actions Maya should take, and there is the gift already too. Uh, Upload the export as it is. The analysis is internal anyway. B. Remove the names and email addresses before uploading. C. Ask Claude to double check its own statistic and trust a confident yes. D. Check the quoted statistic against the raw export before the email ships. E. Skip the analysis and write the email from memory. A false internal use is not a policy exemption. We buried that excuse in the governance episode. C. False. A model vouching for itself is not evidence. That was the first lesson of this course. E is the overreaction, walking away from work that has a safe path. Count the survivors, B and D, exactly 2, and the item asked for 2, so the count confirms the elimination. B is gate, protect the data before it leaves the boundary, and D is verify, check the claim against its source before an audience sees it. Read this as a single answer question, and you would sit there ranking B against D, but the 2 told you to stop ranking. The scenario needs both moves. So, exam day, the count on a multiple response item is information. Eliminate until your survivors match it. 60 questions, 2 hours, 2 passes, bank what you know first and return to the flags. 720 passes, and the line is fixed. So the standard move every time beats brilliance sometimes. Afterward, the report hands you 7 domain percentages, a mirror of the map you started with. Maya checks in early, name matching, desk cleared, and the very first item on her screen says select 2. She almost smiles because that is not a threat anymore. That is the exam handing her information. Next episode, the capstone, one work day, all 7 domains, Maya's launch day played straight through with every move on the card.